Let's look at the various elements that you could have in a life group session. The first is hospitality. We want to create a sense of welcome in our groups to help people feel at home. Hosting a life group in your home doesn't need to be elaborate. Even if someone has a small, messy home, hospitality simply involves opening your doors to let the group meet there. Hospitality can also involve food. Jesus was frequently eating with people, and we would be wise to do the same. Eating together creates relational bonds. The word companion literally means someone you share bread with. Again, this doesn't need to be elaborate. You could have a potluck occasionally, or you could ask a different person to bring snacks each week. Or it could be as simple as a pot of tea. Hospitality could be a shared responsibility among everyone in the group, or it could be the responsibility of those who are particularly gifted in the area of hospitality. The next element you might want to consider is starting the session with an icebreaker. The goal of an icebreaker is to get people talking before entering into a Bible study or book study. It sets a tone for personal sharing, which you will want for later discussion. Icebreakers also help people in the group continue to get to know each other. On the resource page of our website, we have a PDF of icebreaker questions. You can also come up with your own. Another good resource is story cards, which are cards with some random pictures on them, along with some conversation starters like, which picture best describes your relationship with God right now? You might want to buy a set for your group. Or you can find digital story cards at the link below. Icebreakers can be fun and insightful, but you don't want to spend too much time on them because it's important to save most of the time for the next two elements of group session. These next elements will be the meat of your time together. The first is the Bible study or the book study. In another video, we'll take a closer look at facilitating Bible study, but for now, I'll just say that it's important someone takes leadership of the facilitation. This could be a shared responsibility in the group, but use discretion. Anyone who is going to facilitate should be coached through what they need to do to prepare. We encourage you to send them the link to the video on facilitating Bible study. Similarly, if you are doing a book study, it's important that someone takes leadership with facilitation each week. The second main element is prayer. It is really crucial that the group spends time in prayer. It doesn't have to be long, but it shouldn't feel rushed. Prayer is real-time communication with God, and it builds relationship with Him. Not everyone is comfortable praying out loud in public. We shouldn't force them, but we can invite them. Most commonly, you would ask for prayer requests and then spend time praying for each other. You might ask each person to pray for the person to their left or to their right, or have one or two people pray over the whole group. You may also want to close by praying in response to what was discussed during the Bible study or the book study. There are also other forms of prayer, such as the prayer of examen, lectio divina, and imaginative prayer. You can ask a pastor for ideas or consult books on prayer to bring some freshness into the prayer life of the group. Some additional elements you might include sometimes are things like singing together. If there is someone in the group with a gift for music, you could utilize that gift at least occasionally in the group. If no one plays an instrument, you could still just sing a cappella with just your voices, or put on some recorded worship songs. Another element you could include in your group sometimes is having fun. Play a game, either as a brief element of a group session or as a whole social night on occasion. Find out who loves games in your group and ask them to lead it. In some group sessions, you may want to discuss announcements or talk about things that are coming up, such as a church retreat, or a serving opportunity that you could do together, or a church course that you might want to join together. You might also spend some time asking for input on what Bible study or book study topics to do next when you are nearing the end of your current study. However, if you are the main person paying attention to the spiritual growth of the whole group, it is important to gather input, but not just take a vote. You'll need to make a prayerful decision. This can also be in consultation with a pastor who can help discern where the group needs to go next. Occasionally, you may also want to set aside a bit of time in a group session to make decisions about shared responsibilities. For example, who is going to host next time? Who is bringing snacks? Who is facilitating the Bible study? Lastly, as people are about to leave, you might pull someone aside to have a brief one-on-one conversation for individual follow-up. For example, you might follow up on a question someone had that was unrelated to the group discussion, or you might begin to address a conflict or tension within the group. Be sensitive about timing and honoring confidentiality, but sometimes it's best to address issues right away. Other times you may want to set up a different time to follow up with someone. So as you can see, there could be a variety of elements to a group session, but most of the time, the main things are Bible study or book study and prayer, all in the context of growing spiritually in community.